Well, let's get a move on then and focus in on some more earnings then. And SIS India has come out with its quarterly numbers with the profits at about 102 crore rupees. Rituraj Sinha is the Group MD at SIS India, now joins in on the show to discuss their earnings as well as the rising demand for security services in the country. Good to have you on board, Rituraj. We're seeing lots of companies grappling with the COVID crisis in order to try and, remain afloat, keep their operations on as well as, cost control measures. What has the last quarter been like for SIS? Because you have seen a very decent growth kick in, and even on the revenue front, that has been stable this quarter.
Well, firstly, thanks for having me. I think FY21 and the last quarter have been, generally a big validation for the essential services story. The private security, facility management, cash logistics services, all of them are essential category services, which basically means that even when the economy is in a lockdown or we are in the midst of a second wave, these services are witnessing increase in demand rather than demand contraction. And that's clearly evident from two data points. Number one, that, if you look at our monthly consolidated revenues, in March of 21, we have a monthly revenue of 826 crores versus pre-corona March 20, we had a revenue of 720 crores. So in this 12-month window, the corona crisis year, our revenue has moved up by almost 14% on a month compared to last year, same month basis. And that actually tells a very clear story and forward direction.
Okay, fair enough. Now let's break it down for your individual businesses. How has Security Solutions done in India? What has been the growth that you've seen in the facilities management vertical as well?
Well, the security services business in India has been seeing increase in demand over the last, since March actually, since September and right through to March. And if you look at the Q4, they have reported a fairly strong set of numbers in terms of revenue. Generally, if you look at the margin, the margin has reported a slight contraction, but that's only because of some Q4 adjustments related to gratuity, catch-up accounting, and a few bits on SG&A. Other than that, the normalized level of EBITDA for the security solutions business remains as is. If you look at facility management, it was actually the hardest hit segment for SIS because, our major customers, railways, hotels, malls, IT spaces, they were largely non-operational or semi-operational for large parts of the year. So facility management took a big hit in the first 6 months of the year. But since October festive season, facility management has been coming back very strongly. And if you look at their latest numbers, they have reported a very solid Q4 number on revenue. Their margins are lower on the back of loss of operating leverage. Obviously, the business has reduced a little bit, and I am sure that the margins will level out as the business goes back to full capacity, hopefully in the coming quarters.
Hi Rituraj, this is Mubina as well joining in. I just want to talk about what the industry and the business saw in the previous lockdown, in the first wave, and what we are seeing now. I would imagine that, in the last quarter, I was just reading about how, the lockdown essentially upskilled, if you could call it that, a lot of, firms like yours. You introduced tech-enabled solutions as well for your clients. So all those steps that you may have taken during the previous lockdown, has that sort of made you better prepared to deal with this new second wave and the ensuing lockdown as well that we are seeing?
Well, the second wave is actually not comparable to the last year's situation. I think this is a much bigger issue on our hands, and I think we're all at some level facing those challenges. But as a business, I think what it has done is that the demand for hygiene and sanitation staff, the demand for security services staff, etc., has seen a spike, especially in the healthcare sector. And generally speaking, as an essential services provider, the largest in India, with almost 230,000 frontline workers, I think one can say that we are more prepared mentally to take on this requirement. But then there is clearly on the health front, there is a challenge also for our workers. But yes, in terms of business, this means a spike in demand.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Rituraj, just one more question. If you could speak about, expansion opportunities, organic growth opportunities that you are looking at. And I'm going to club in one more question over there due to paucity of time. What has been the, if there's been any trend in the contract prices, that you've signed with your clients of late, if you could just share some flavor on that as well?
Well, the first thing I want to call out very clearly is that our gross margin line has remained stable throughout this crisis period. And that goes to show that, customers understand the importance of, essential services like private security and facility management and cash logistics. So our gross margin line is very stable. We don't see any change in contract pricing or any major such symptom. For surge requirements, in fact, we have been, pricing differently. In Australia, for example, for, surge requirements, we charge as temporary contracts, which are higher margins. But then again, that's also a one-off on the positive side. Over a period of time, it will taper out. But overall, I don't see a margin shrinkage of any sort. As far as expansion is concerned, I think our complete focus right now is on managing the requirements of our existing customers. SIS services customers across segments and across all parts of the country. And we are witnessing a surge in demand from several pockets. So our complete focus is right now to address the requirements of existing customers and take on business. Business new orders are coming through. And that's what we are focusing on. We are not looking at new markets or new verticals or, at this point in time, it's a complete focus on managing what we have on our plate.
Rituraj, we leave it at that. Thanks so much and all the very best as you navigate through these times. Thanks so much once again for joining us.